a seat, sip some wisdom, and stay a while. This is the Prosperity Lounge where growth gets personal. Step inside, we're breaking chains.
Good evening and welcome to the Prosperity Lounge, where hope meets freedom and growth gets personal. I'm Joey Ruffalo, best-selling author, financial coach, and your go-to guide to making smart money moves, building businesses with purpose, and creating a life filled with peace, clarity, and impact. If you're tuning in tonight, thank you for joining us on this special Friday night episode, July 4th, Independence Day. Thanks for being here. We're live every Friday night from 6 to 7 Eastern on Praise 96.3 FM and also streaming in real time on YouTube at the Prosperity Lounge. Head over to youtube.com/ at the Prosperity Lounge. Hit the subscribe, hop in the chat. We love to hear from you. Before we dive in today, let me take a moment to reflect on last week's episode with Whitney Holiday, founder of Camp Honey Coffee in Knoxville. If you missed it, it was more than a business story. It was a masterclass in purpose-driven growth. Here are 3 takeaways for me that really stood out. First, purpose sustains platform. From the faith behind the name to the heart behind the brand, Whitney showed us that they could lead with mission, profit follows, but peace leads. Second takeaway, small margins, big meaning. Camp Honey wasn't launched with millions, it was built on small, faithful steps. That's a reminder to all of us. You don't need huge resources to start, you just need intentional movement. And the biggest one of all, serve first, then build. Whitney didn't just open a coffee shop. She created a space of rest, connection, community, basically a campfire in a busy world. That mindset, service before scale, is a foundation for both businesses and financial freedom. So if you haven't listened to that episode yet, go back and give it a listen. It's available now on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora. You can watch it on YouTube. You can listen to it on YouTube, all your usual spots. Make sure you follow, give it a subscribe, leave a review or comment, and share that episode with someone who's building something meaningful from the ground up. And when you're ready to dig deeper, join us inside the Prosperity Lounge at theprosperitylounge.com. That's where you'll find our 8-step action guide to stop living paycheck to paycheck, our student loan survival kit, and our brand new, and we're going to talk about this later on, our brand new Declaration of Financial Independence worksheet created just for this episode. Now today's different because while we normally talk about budgets, side hustles, and systems, today we're going to talk about something deeper, something sacred, and that's freedom. Not just the kind written in the founding documents, but the kind that's lived in daily decisions. The kind of freedom my dad taught me and the kind he fought for. So let me tell you a little bit about my dad. Now, I should start by saying that every episode of the Prosperity Lounge is personal to me. But this one hits deeper than most because when I think about freedom, especially on a day like today, I can't help but think of my dad. My dad, Joseph Ruffalo Jr., born and raised in Bloomfield, New Jersey. He was the kind of man who didn't need to speak loudly to be heard. He had a quiet strength, a strong handshake, and a faith that never wavered. He was a Vietnam era veteran, served in country. He was a Bronze Star recipient. He literally gave everything to his country and to his family. But he didn't stop serving when he came home. See, my dad, when I was younger, actually before I was born, became blind, slowly lost his vision. And by the time I was a little one, pretty much totally blind. But for more than 25 years, he led the National Federation of the Blind of New Jersey as its president, giving a voice to those who had been overlooked. He served on national boards, ran community groups, helped with the Cub Scouts, Lions Club, Knights of Columbus, you name it. If there was a chance to lead, a chance to serve, and a chance to uplift others, you find my dad first in line to do it. And yet, for all these achievements, he never bragged. He just showed up over and over and over again for his country, for my mom, for me and my brother, for anybody who needed it, for anybody who needed someone to believe in them. Give my dad a call. And here's the part that really sits with me. He fought for freedom overseas, but like many veterans, didn't always feel free at home. Financial stress was real. We grew up modest, had a roof over our heads, took a vacation every several years, never really knew the full extent of what the financial impact or stress was on my parents' life. I remember, you know, we had it, I look back and say we had it pretty good. We went to Disney. We used to go every 4 years because that's how long it took my dad to save enough change in what we call our change jar to be able to afford a trip to Disney. Every little penny, quarter, nickel, dime, just chuck in the jar, and then he would take the jar when it was full, wrap the coins, cash the coins in, and put it towards the trip. Usually took about 4 years to do that. But that perseverance, that persistence, that goal in mind, um, it's one of those things I talked about in an early episode where it's more is caught than taught. So seeing that, seeing the effort being made to enhance his family's life, and then the opportunity for him to or to see him enhance other people's lives as well. Now, I said my dad was blind when I was younger, probably about 3 or 4 years old. I used to be his. I joke and say I was his guide child, guide dog. He would hold on to my shoulder and we'd walk and go everywhere. And he'd have his little. He didn't have a cane yet, but he would walk and hold on to my shoulder, and I would guide him places. And we'd go to the bank and the store and buy milk and bread and come home and go to the library and things like that. And one day, I think I was about 4 years old, we had walked down to the library and we had passed a construction scene. No big deal. On the way back from the store, actually, we had gone to the store after the library and picked up some milk and eggs and bread and staples. And we're on our way back, and I'm looking around because I'm 4 years old and I'm just, whatever. And forgot that there was the construction scene there, and my dad fell in a ditch. And the eggs and the milk and the bread all spilled all over him and cracked everything. And luckily, it was like wasn't that far down. I always envisioned in my head that it was like this giant ditch, like it was several feet down. But I think it was more like a small little hole that he tripped and fell into. The workers came over and helped him, and he was more embarrassed and angry. And I looked at him. I don't know what he said. He said something, I think, and I remember looking at him, and I remember this story vividly. It's been told a lot, but I also remember it. I asked him, "Why aren't you using one of those sticks?" And what I meant was, "Why isn't he using a cane?" And he's like, "Joe, I don't know. You're right." So I think immediately after that, he went out and got a cane and got trained in that and became fiercely independent. Like we would still go out, he'd still hold on my shoulder, and he would use his cane to guide through. And I think that the shoulder holding was more or less our time to kind of talk and hang out. But he didn't want to let me know that he didn't really need me that much anymore. But he had a lot of freedom. He would travel places, he would go speak at conferences, he was all over the place. And I think that seeing that, somebody who is different than me, or different than most parents, different than most adults that I've seen in my life, and seeing that and seeing the lengths that he went through to be quote unquote normal. Let's go outside and have a catch. Different than most parents, but we still did it. We would use, wouldn't use a hard ball for say. We would use a tennis ball or something. Or I remember one time, yeah, I think it was a tennis ball once, and then I remember a couple times I would, on my glove, I'd have a bell. So I'd get ready and I would like shake the bell, and he'd hear where the bell is, and they'd throw it. Almost a perfect strike every time, and I would catch it. Couple of times I'd throw it back at him and miss. So I think we ended up a lot of times I would kind of like either run the ball back to him, or I would roll it to the floor, then he'd hit his leg, and then he'd pick it up and then shake the bell. Boom. Now, if we had a bell on the ball and I threw it and he heard the bell coming, then he would be able to like whatever catch it. And I always thought that was fascinating, that aspect of that process. Um, he was an athlete. He competed in events overseas. I think he still holds the world record in powerlifting in his category. Some 35 years later, still there. Yeah. So what really is important for that is he never complained. He carried so much weight, especially later on in life when PTSD and cancer really wore him down, and Fourth of July wasn't as fun for him anymore. He would go down the basement, put a big microphone or headphones over his head, pop up the music as loud as he could, because he just couldn't hear the fireworks. Those fireworks were just a reminder of some dark times in his life, and I suspect those were always there. He just never let us see it when we were younger. So it's that quiet sacrifice that was being made. That's why today's special episode is so special to me. It means so much because I believe the best way to honor his legacy is not just waving a flag or playing a song. It's to live the freedom that he made possible. Freedom in our finances, freedom in our decisions, freedom to choose purpose over pressure and peace over panic. My dad believed in service. He believed in systems that lift people up and never giving up. And when things were hard, man, that's when you need to step up the most. And that's why today we're going to talk a little bit about the Declaration of Independence and what freedom really means. And that's why I wanted to start with him. Not just my words, but I want you to hear his words. What you're about to hear is a recording of my dad reading a poem that was close to his heart. It's called It's the Veteran. He always would send us out on Memorial Day and Veterans Day. And I can't think of a better way to begin today's conversation by playing this. So here we go.
Each year, we honor our veterans in the month of November. I send out a poem each year, and I send it out usually on Veterans Day and Memorial Day to remember those who sacrificed their lives for our freedom. So this poem is called It's the Veteran. It's the veteran, not the preacher, who has given us the freedom of religion. It's the veteran, not the reporter, who has given us the freedom of the press. It's the veteran, not the poet, who has given us the freedom of speech. It's the veteran, not the campus organizer, who has given us the freedom to assemble. It's the veteran, not the lawyer, who has given us the right to a fair trial. It's the veteran, not the politician, who has given us the right to vote. It's the veteran who honors the flag, the veteran who serves under the flag. No matter where they serve, God bless them all. God bless America.
There you go. There you go. Every time I hear that poem, it just hits a little different. The voice, steady, clear, full of purpose. That's the man I learned so much from. That's my dad. He didn't just recite these words, he lived them. He didn't just talk about freedom. He fought for them and fought through it. And now it's our turn. See, freedom isn't just a gift we honor. It's a responsibility we carry. It's not just about what was written back then. It's about what we're living right now. So let's just go back to the beginning. Let's just go back to where it started. July 4th, 1776. And let's look at how the words written in ink back then still call us to action today. Let's talk about the Declaration of Independence and the freedom it dared to give us. So, 249 years ago on this very day, a handful of brave souls put pen to paper and lit a fire under the world that the world could not put out. They didn't have social media, they didn't have wealth or armies, they had conviction, and they had a declaration. That document, the Declaration of Independence, wasn't just a breakup letter with the king. It was a public commitment to a new identity, a new future, a new kind of freedom. And as I read it again this year, I realized something. That document, it doesn't apply to governments or just apply to governments. It applies to your life because the same forces that once held a nation captive, fear, control, dependence, are still keeping millions of us from living free today. So I just want to walk through a few powerful lines from the Declaration and show you how they connect to the freedom we talk about every week here on the Prosperity Lounge. The first one, we hold these truths to be self evident that all men are created equal and they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights that are among these life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. They start with what's true, not what's easy, what's right, not what's popular. This line reminds us you were born with value. You don't earn it with a paycheck. You don't lose it in a bankruptcy. The right to life, liberty, and happiness isn't handed down by bosses or banks. It's built into you. That's why financial freedom isn't just about money. It's about restoring your dignity. It's knowing that you were created for a purpose and that no bill, no credit score, no past mistake can take that away from you. In the lounge, we say it all the time. You don't have a money problem. You have a plan problem. But before you get to the plan, you need to know this. You are worthy, period. Second one, to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. This line is about authority and ownership. Governments were created to serve the people, not the other way around. And the second they stop serving that purpose, the people have the right to reclaim control. That same principle applies to your money. Too many people live like their money has authority over them. My bills control me. My debt runs the show. My job determines my options. But guess what? You are the CEO of your life. Your money works for you, not the other way around. That's why we talk so much about budgeting, tracking, and awareness. Because if you don't tell your money where to go, someone else will. Number three, whenever any form of government becomes destructive, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it. This is one of the most powerful parts of the document. If the system is broken, if it's causing more harm than good, the people don't just have the right, they have the responsibility to change it. Let me ask you this. What systems in your life are no longer serving you? Is it a financial system based on debt and delay? A belief system that says you'll never get ahead? A family system where no one talked about money and now everyone's drowning? It's time to abolish what's not working. Replace guilt with a goal. Replace chaos with clarity. Replace reaction with intention. And remember, being proactive versus reactive. That's why we created tools like the Prosperity Planner, not to make life harder, but to give you a system that actually works for you, not against you. Number four, prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light or transient causes. This line is often skipped, but I wanted to include it here because it's deep. They're saying, hey, don't overthrow everything just because you had a bad day. But if the pain is deep, the damage is real, the pattern consistent. The change is not only justified, it's wise. So let's translate that into personal finance for a second. Just because you had a tough month doesn't mean you throw out your entire budget. But if you've been stuck in the same paycheck to paycheck cycle for years, if your financial stress is affecting your sleep, your marriage, your health, I know a lot about that, then maybe it's time to stop patching the old plan. Start building a new one based on values, not just bills, one that creates margin, not just survival. We don't build these systems because it's trendy. We do it because doing nothing is too expensive. And five, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. That's the very last line. After all the ideas, after all the convictions, they sign their names. They put everything on the line, their lives, their fortunes, their honor. Why? Because freedom is worth it. Let me ask you, what are you willing to put on the line for your future? Are you willing to track your spending even when it's uncomfortable? Are you willing to say no to things you want now for what you want most later? Are you willing to be the first in your family to break a cycle of debt or silence or financial shame? Freedom isn't free. And if it doesn't come with a coupon code. It comes with commitment. So today, this Independence Day, I want to challenge you not just to celebrate a freedom someone else died for, but to fight for the freedom you're still meant to live. The founders signed their declaration in ink, but you and I, we sign ours with action, with every debt we pay off, with every budget we commit to, with every decision we make that honors our future instead of indulging in the moment. And in just a moment, I'll walk you through how to write your own Declaration of Financial Independence. I'm so excited to present that to you. It's coming up, I swear. So we talk about what financial freedom really means. When people hear financial freedom, they picture they picture yachts, private jets, beach homes, stuff you see on TV, right? And listen, I'm not against any of those. Man, I would love to fly on a private jet. Tell you that much right now. I am not against it. But that's not what true financial freedom is. So let's bring that closer to home. Here's what financial freedom looks like in real life. Not panicking when your car needs new brakes. Saying yes to your kid's field trip without moving money around. Going on vacation without coming home to a credit card hangover. Oh, that vacation you took, you're still paying for it years later. You're not on it anymore, but you're still paying for it. Constant reminder of that fun time you had. And this is important, and it touches on our episode last week with Whitney from Camp Honey Coffee. Leaving a toxic job because your emergency fund gives you a cushion. That ability to say, yeah, guess what? I don't need this. I'm good. I'm going to find something else with purpose. You see, freedom isn't just about wealth. It's about margin and mobility. So let's break this down into three levels. That first is stability. This is your baseline. You're paying your bills on time. You're not constantly overdrafting. You have emergency fund, even if it's just 500 or $1,000. So let's say, for example, Joey used to overdraft twice a month. After building my first emergency fund, I made it to the first month without stress. Guess what? That's freedom. How many of you used to overdraft on those cups of coffee? That $2 cup of coffee at the gas station turned into a $45 cup of coffee because you got hit with that $39 overdraft fee because you didn't have any money in your bank account. Yeah, it's happened before. I had a client once who, I think it was Christmas, and they paid cash for everything for the first time in their entire lives. They didn't have bills for the holidays come January. That's freedom. These little things, man, that's powerful steps on your way to freedom. All right, number 2, security. What does that look like? Well, you got your 3 to 6 month emergency fund. That's 3 to 6 months of expenses, basic expenses. You're not 36 months of your Netflix account, 3 to 6 months of your Hulu subscription. No, those aren't emergencies. Rent, mortgage, property tax, car, gas, food, utilities. Those are emergencies. So 3 to 6 months of that. Uh, you're contributing to a retirement account. You got a plan for paying off debt, not just surviving it, not just treading water. And unexpected expenses don't derail your life. Imagine 2 people earning $60,000 a year. One has no savings and panics when the air conditioner goes out, and the other has 3,000 set aside and calmly schedules repairs. Same income, different freedom. And number 3, choice. This is the highest level. You could leave a job that doesn't align with your values. Go back and listen to Camp Huddy and Whitney from last week. You could start a business. Again, Brad from Home Smiles, Whitney from Camp Honey. It's great. These people are doing it. You can take care of aging parents or spend time with your kids. And you can give generously and rest intentionally. Imagine working 60 hours a week and missing kids' ball games. Imagine that. Some of you are probably doing that right now. But after paying off debt, starting a weekend side hustle, getting out of debt, imagine being able to go part-time at work and never missing another game. Man, that's just not money, man. That is freedom. Now, most people think budgeting and personal financial planning or whatever are restrictive. We had this conversation ad nauseum several episodes ago. Let's just flip that script upside down. A budget isn't punishment, man. It's a plan for your freedom. It's the exact opposite of restrictive. It gives you permission to say yes when it matters most. Say no without guilt. Sleep at night knowing you're not a prisoner to your paycheck. Let me say it plain and simple. Financial freedom doesn't mean you'll never struggle. It means you're no longer stuck. Put that on a bumper sticker, maybe a t-shirt. And the best part, you don't have to wait until someday. Someday is not on a calendar. You could start this week with one small action. We'll talk about this coming up again. This is where I challenge you to write your own Declaration of Financial Independence. But what I love to tell people who are waiting or are not sure, we live in an environment, we live in a country, we live in a time where you can be bankrupt on Friday and a millionaire on Monday. That is the ultimate freedom. the freedom to create, the freedom to plot your own course in life is just, we are, yeah, can't say it enough. So by now, we've looked at how our country defines freedom, how our country declared independence. We've talked about what financial freedom really looks like. But now it's your turn, because here's the truth. A declaration means nothing until you make it personal. And that's why I created something just for today's episode, in honor of today's episode. It's our one-page Declaration of Financial Independence worksheet. It's a simple, powerful worksheet, and I want this to be the start of your personal freedom plan. You can download it right now at theprosperitylounge.com. If you're a member, you could get in there and go to prosperitylounge.com/freedom, Prosperity Lounge, theprosperitylounge.com/freedom. You get access to the free download PDF there. Put in your information and we'll send it to you right away. And basically, I'll walk you through what's inside. More importantly, why it matters. Step one, this is your why for freedom. We open with the question, why do you want financial freedom? Not in theory, but for you. Now, everybody's answer is going to be different, right? That's the beauty of this. The theory is the theory. Anybody kind of spouse that, but the why for you is going to be different than the why for somebody else. So, what is it for you? Why do you want financial freedom? Maybe it's the sleep at night. I know, I know. I didn't sleep for a year going through my heart struggles. When I was done, I was glad to get a good night's sleep. I was happy to be able to not wake up 17 times a night, worried about everything. Maybe it's to stop fighting about money. Again, money fights and money problems are the number one cause of divorce in North America, or a leading cause, I should say. Probably I think it's number two, but it's there. It's up there. People are fighting about money because people aren't on the same page. There's stress over it. There's a lot of uh, angst over it. Let's clear that up. Let's find out the why. Maybe it's to leave a job that's draining you. Maybe you're on your way to burnout and you can't afford to go somewhere else. So you have to stay here because of the money. Maybe it's maybe to take care of your parents. Maybe you got a sick parent, and you make the decision that instead of putting them in a care home, you're going to care for them yourself in your home. What does that look like? Are you able to do that? Are you able to provide the best care possible? Maybe it's to show your kids what peace looks like. Remember, more is caught than taught. The kids are going to see you and how you respond and how you're acting around money, and that's exactly what they're going to do. If they see you being responsible with it, if they see that you're a good steward of finances, that's what they're going to be as well. They're going to see that. They're going to emulate that. They want to be just like you. This is where your fire starts. If you don't know your why, then the how won't matter. So let's get it on there. Let's list it. Let's circle it. Let's own it. Step two. Step two is one of my favorite parts of this when I was creating it. It's your personal declaration. It's modeled after the declaration itself. but it's 100% yours. You fill in the blanks. I will no longer be enslaved by blank. I will no longer accept. I claim the right to. I will pursue. And then you sign it and date it. Because this isn't just a worksheet, it's a contract with your future. One that says, from this day forward, I choose to live free. Step 3, your first 3 freedom actions. All right, this is where we bring it all down to earth. You list the first 3 small steps you'll take this month, not someday, this month, right now. It could be something as simple as starting a budget, canceling a subscription, having a money conversation with your spouse, open a savings account, or maybe it's using the prosperity planner for the first time. Because declarations without action, just noise. Just noise. But action, man, action rooted in purpose, that's freedom. We say it all the time. Freedom lives where faith and action meet. It's a great thing to have faith, but if you're not going to put it into action, not going to be able to have freedom. I could sit there and go, hey, I believe one day that I'm going to be debt free. All right. What are you going to do about it? I'm just going to sit here and believe it. Well, I'll tell you right now, it's never going to happen. You could believe it all you want. It's not going to happen. But if you put it into action, your faith, I'm going to be debt free. All right, what are you going to do about it? I'm going to work a second job. I'm going to cut back on my lifestyle. I'm going to save like nobody else. I'm going to pay down my debt like nobody else. I'm going to live like nobody else. Man, that's where freedom comes in, man, because you're 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 doing it. You're working it. You put in that freedom, that faith into action to get that freedom. So that's powerful. Because again, just noise, the other stuff. Just there. And if there's a lot of noise, we can't hear ourselves. And we really need to hear ourselves. That's why it's important. Next is your accountability. Who's walking with you? Who's there? Who's your freedom partner? Just like the signers, man, they had people from every state. There's 13 colonies. They had signers signing that declaration. Hancock with the big signature. So who's your freedom partner? Who are you going to check in with? Are you checking in with them weekly, bi-weekly, monthly? What are you doing? It could be your spouse. Sure. Your best friend. Do you have an adult child that you have good relationships with? Good conversations around money? Do you have a small group that you talk to? Talk to somebody even inside the lounge. Because freedom isn't just a solo act. It's a shared mission. Remember we talked about debt and debt thriving in isolation. When you isolate yourself and you try to go through this alone, you are not going to make it. You're not going to make it. There's a great quote. It's attributed to a lot of different people, but I've seen it attributed to John Wooden as well. And I love John Wooden quotes. Great UCLA basketball coach. back in the 60s and 70s, and maybe even into the early 80s. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But it says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with a team. Paraphrasing. It's not exactly it, but you get the point. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with a team. So you can go fast by yourself without the quote unquote weight of other people around you, but you're only going to go so far. You're not going to go very far. It kind of likens it to that tortoise and the hare, right? The slow and steady wins the race. You have people around you that you can refer to, you can rely on, you can talk to, you can bounce ideas off of, you can be accountable with. It's powerful. That's why the lounge exists as well. Like, get in there, talk to somebody, put your stuff in the comments, make a connection with somebody. There's people in there that'll comment and talk to you. You're never going to be alone. And that's important because remember, debt thrives in isolation. You have nobody accountable to you when you make that decision to say, hey, I'm going to spend this on this. There's nobody to tell you, hey, you know what? I think that's not a good idea. You're just going to do it. And right back to where you started. The last part, this was, I say all of them are powerful, but this one was very powerful as well. This is your freedom number. This is what amount of money or yearly income would help you feel financially free. It's not about being a millionaire. It's about knowing your number so you can build toward it with clarity and intention. How much do you think you need on a monthly basis that you could say, I'm free. I don't have to worry about anybody else in my life. I don't have to worry about that job. I work because I want to, not because I have to. Write it down. If you can write it down and you have it on paper, you have a goal that you can work towards. Now, some people's number may be really out there and you may not be able to get there. But that doesn't mean you stop trying to get there. At the bottom of the worksheet, it's that phrase. Freedom lives where faith and action meet. What does that mean to you? What does that phrase say to you? So you take a few minutes, write what comes up on it, let it sink in, because that phrase isn't just a tagline. It's a truth we live by in this space here at the Prosperity Lounge. It's why the show exists. It's why I'm a coach. It's why I build tools like this worksheet to help you move from wishing to walking, from drifting to declaring. So don't just listen to this episode and move on with your day. Download the worksheet, theprosperitylounge.com/freedom. If you're already a member of the Prosperity Lounge community, it's in the resources tab. If you're not a member of the community, join today. It's free. Absolutely free to join. We got some great things coming up in there. We got our app coming out soon. So you can just have it right on your phone. Click on the app, boom, you're in the community. It's going to be amazing. The connections we're making and the progress we're going to make. It's just, yeah, it's going to be fun. So download the worksheet, fill it out, print it out when it's done, put it on your fridge, put it on your bathroom mirror, take a picture of it so it's on your phone. Keep it with you so you can refer to it. Better yet, share it with somebody else. Invite them into the journey. Start a freedom circle at your church. Start one with your friends, your family. Remember, freedom isn't just about it's not just something we inherit, it's something we activate. This, man, this is your start. This is your day. This is your declaration. This is your I've had enough moment. I'm declaring freedom from financial independence, and I have had enough. So I hope that today's message, I hope it stirred something in you, because here's the truth. Freedom may be a national holiday, but it has to become a personal habit. And it starts with action and with honest questions like the ones we have here every week. And this is one of my favorite parts of the episode. Each and every week, it's our question and answers. Man, we get people from all over who are writing in on the Prosperity Lounge, asking questions. They're emailing, they're commenting on Instagram, they're checking us out on YouTube, they're in the chat, they're asking questions of us, they're asking questions of our guests. We have an active, engaged audience. And so this week, I got a few questions that came in, and let's get to them. Devin from Richmond, Virginia, wrote in via Instagram and said, "How do I know if I'm really financially free or just coasting?" Man, that's a great question, Devin. Coasting is when your bills are covered. That's what I like to tell my clients. Coasting is, it really is, it's when your bills are covered, but your goals aren't. Freedom isn't just not drowning, it's being able to swim where you want. So ask yourself, am I choosing my life or am I reacting to it? Do I have margin? Could I take a hit or take a leap and be okay? If the answer is no, you're probably in stability, not full on freedom. And that's okay. That is okay. You're on the path. But we have to just keep moving forward. You can't let your foot off the gas on this one. All right. Rachel from Louisville, Kentucky wrote in on YouTube and asked what if budgeting feels like bondage, not freedom? It's a great question. I get a lot of budgeting questions that come in. We had that real powerful episode a few weeks ago on um, budgeting fails and stuff like that. So check it out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else. Watch it here on YouTube. Um, Rachel, I got to say, man, I have been there. I have been there. It's probably because you use the budget to tell you what you needed to cut off, not what you care about. So, a real budget, a values based budget, is about saying yes to the right things. So, Rachel, start, start with your goals, not your bills. Budget from the top down. What matters, what gives life, and what brings peace. And then build the rest around that. Check back in with me and let me know how you're doing on that. I definitely am curious. Chris from Colorado sent an email in that said, "What do I do if my partner and I have different ideas of what financial freedom looks like?" Chris, you'd be surprised, Chris. This is more common than you think. And that's because we fail to have the conversation prior to marriage, prior to intertwining our lives together with people. We don't have the money conversation. A lot of other conversations we don't have either, but definitely the money conversation is one of the big ones we do not have most of the time. It goes back to aligned goals, shared values, and even roles with money. Who's doing the budgeting? Who is paying the bills? Who is responsible for what? Those conversations need to be had. You can check out our conversation guide in our, again, in the resources tab. We have our conversations around money that you can have with your spouse or your partner, and how to have those conversations set up, what the rules are, setting ground rules, what kind of talk things to talk about, things like that. But you have to understand, Chris, that even though you're married, long-term relationship, lives are intertwined, freedom looks different to different people. Your spouse might want a beach house, while you might just want to stop stressing over groceries. Big difference. So start by asking each other, what does freedom look like to you? What does freedom feel like to you? Try to focus on words like peace and time and health and rest and security, not just dollars. Yeah, financial freedom to me feels like if I had $1 million, I'd be financially free. Maybe, maybe, but am I healthy? Can I rest? Did I buy back time in my life or time in my day? Am I at peace with myself and my surroundings? How's my health? When you do that and you find overlap between some of these things, you'll definitely get there. What you want to do is make sure you align on the emotion before you align on the math. And when you agree on the why, well, it's so much easier to agree on the how. How are we going to get there? But let's find the why first. All right. Leah from Knoxville asked us here in the Prosperity Lounge, how can I stay motivated when financial freedom feels so far away? All right. I get this one a lot, Leah, because you look at your debt and you say, I got these student loan debt, I had this and that. I am $200,000 in debt and I'm making $40,000 a year. How am I ever going to get there? I might as well just give up. Just live normally and just forget about it. I get it a lot. I was there. I'm one of you. 370,000. Big albatross. Part of me wanted to say, eh, whatever. What are they going to do? They can do a lot. So again, it was about taking action. So the answer, I quite honestly, and this isn't just because it was created for the show, but the answer is in the declaration. The founders didn't wait until they had everything figured out. They declared freedom. They declared freedom while they were still at war. Same goes for you. I mean, you don't need to feel free to act free. You act, you act, and the feeling follows. So break it down. Let's make it tangible. Win the month, not the decade. Win the day, not the month. Win the hour, not the day. See where I'm going? Win a minute, win 2 minutes, win 3 minutes. Stack these wins on top of each other. And then surround yourself with people who are walking the same road. That's why we built the lounge, because motivation lives in movement and community. Thank you all for those great questions. Absolutely amazing. So here we are. As we wrap up this July 4th special, I want to leave you with this. The Declaration wasn't just a document, It was a decision, a line in the sand, a promise to the future. And today you get to draw your own line. You get to choose margin over madness. You get to choose peace over panic. You get to choose purpose over paycheck to paycheck. Powerful, man. Freedom lives where faith and action meet. You got to take that action. You have the ability to do it. If this episode spoke to you, please share it. Text a friend, send it to your spouse. Post a quote on your feed. Tag me in it. I want to know what you're doing. I want to celebrate you. If you're ready to take the next step, here's how. And man, I hope you're ready. Because once we go down this road, it's going to be amazing. All right. First thing you're going to do is you're going to go to theprosperitylounge.com. When you're there, you're going to sign into the free community. And when you're in the free community, you're going to get your 8-step action guide to stop living paycheck to paycheck, student loan survival guide, how to talk to your spouse and partner about money guide. You're also going to get the Declaration of Financial Independence worksheet. Access to ask questions, talk to people, make connections, find resources for you. You're never going to be alone again. We also have our Prosperity Planner. It's our budgeting tool. It's free for 30 days. Try it out. You can plan your goals on there. You can track your expenses. It's yeah. The fun part about it too, guys, is there is an AI feature where you can ask questions, and it's me. It's an AI Joey. You get to talk to me, and I answer your questions. It's technology is amazing. It is great. It's a fun little tool. And like I said, join the community. Check us out on YouTube at the Prosperity Lounge. Listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Pandora, and more. If you have a suggestion for a topic for a show, a business you want to recommend we interview and talk to next, send us an email or a text or a quote. Or a comment. You can text us on the text line here. It's 865 236 1791. 865 236 1791 is our text line. It's open 24/7. You can text a question whenever you want. We'll get to it and maybe answer it on the show. So that's it, everybody. Thank you for hanging out on this special July 4th Independence Day edition of the Prosperity Lounge. We got some great guests lined up coming in July and August. It's going to be fantastic. You're not going to want to miss these guests. You're not going to want to miss these stories of inspiration. It's going to be amazing. I appreciate all of you. Thank you guys so much. Until next time, stay faithful, stay fearless, and remember, freedom lives where faith and action meet. The lounge is always open, and so is your next breakthrough. This is the Prosperity Lounge.
This is where momentum meets the sun. The prosperity